Run his way to get some cooter. Taking trades while you getting nades. You on stream looking like you flunked fourth grade. Your other trader's strategy is sniffing paint. Man, your trades whack and they stink. Turn on your stream and got a whip of paint. Edge pressure, I'll wait for the trades to come to me. More like edge pressure. I go hard at half gap. I go harder at LP. Might bet the house if price is DD. You other traders PP. I was sparked a blunt, but I got high BP. Watch this, I call this the Arby's trade. Might fuck around and make 10K. What's that? Oh, pickle and iDoc here to stay. Pet pickle, oh yeah, pickle first, so soft. You other traders, trade soft. Here's a blue chew. Hope the
What's up, guys?
flushes you, 'cause you doo-doo.
Okay, all ready to get going on here? All right, hold on.
'Cause you doo-doo.
Speaking of iPhone futures,
Bootcamp coming up soon, better be ready. Speaking of coming, iDoc's back, sub-doc, no bugs.
speaking of coming, iDoc's back.
Tell me feel funny. All the lunch and green juice.
That song is always gonna have my heart.
Real strong, Matty Hercules.
All right, guys, get ready to go on here. Hold up.
Man, your trade's whack and they
Every single time, some of the time.
whip on tanks. Hedge pressure, I wait for the trades to
Dude, I love that. Every single time, what did I say that one day? It was like EST, like every sometimes time.
PP. I would spark a blunt, but I
Vivek's filming up, yeah. So I'm like very curious if we do get some flushiness. The VIX being right on the edge of hedge pressure on UVXY is kind of not. It's not as safe as I'd like it to be. It's still on the good side of things, but it could get there. Every sometime, yeah, is that what I was saying? Like when market fell, and I was like every single time. I'm like every sometime
here's a blue chew. Hope the market
because I really didn't want to take it. It was the one yesterday. Although taking it was probably a good idea. I think it did rally in the overnight actually.
sub-doc, no bugs bunny. You
You make me tell me feel funny.
all the lunch and green
The Whoosh song?
man could ever need. Makes me real
The Whoosh fan song? I know the Whoosh fan is actually really good. I like the guitar hook in it. It's actually really good. I think like T6 won Lifetime like 6 times with all his songs, I swear. Like he's the one. Him and Mike, literally both of them have written some pretty dope songs. They're really, all of you guys have written some great ones. I'm already using them. The contest isn't even over because y'all love them so much. The Whoosh song. every seldom time, every occasional time. Yeah, I didn't want to. It was we were falling to pocket yesterday. This is at like the end of the market day, and I just was like, man, I don't know if I want to take it. It's like 10 minutes till market closes, and I was just like, I know it's every single time, and I know like last time I longed the market, 2 minutes before market close, it just really burned me. So every sometime, that was the funny joke. So now we have every sometime memes. Whoosh fan. Half gap measured from NQ close Jerry trade. So half gap is actually measured from the equities close, both. So it's basically marking futures at 5 p.m. Eastern previous day, and then futures at 9:30 the opening day. So I'm just marking the futures chart at those times, which is equivalently like where SPY and QQQ open at those times. Yeah. You can chart plan. So half gap is the middle between those two places. Yeah. So this is like the QQQ equivalent open and QQQ equivalent close yesterday. Yeah. Good question. Good question. Soon enough, I'm seeing some volume now. Let's get ready to go. You guys make sure you load up Financial Juice if you don't have it. That's really the way to go when it comes to tracking what Hal and stuff is saying. Financial Juice will load this up too and parse out the good data, make it red, like in the middle of him talking in the press conference. And also when the release comes out, there's gonna be a bunch of data that comes out with it that supported their decision. So make sure you guys are ready for that. I should get based on the number of quality songs submitted, right? It's like I need to give out more prizes. There's gonna be so many people winning. The restart rule in MFU, you don't like it? Yeah. Why is half cap so important to me? Well, it's really, in reality, it's a liquidity search thing. Okay, think about it like this, right? Markets today gapped up, right? Why did we gap up? Well, there's probably a buy imbalance, right? There's more buying and selling at either the open or close. The net sum of all, there's a more buy imbalance, right? So they have to raise price to look for sellers. And so when you open the market, there's volume. And when you close the market, you'll see there's also volume, right? When you close. And so because there's volume at each the open and close, volume is considered liquid, right? There's a lot of buyers and sellers at both places. And therefore, the market's extremely liquid at the boundaries of the gap, right? That's why gap fills are so important. It's just a resistance pivot. There's buyers and sellers already there, breaking even and whatever on trades. So if you're liquid on the edge, if you're liquid here and liquid here, then you are liquid squared there. You're like double liquid. That's why it's very important. It's a liquid spot of two liquid spots, right? The middle is always liquid. Anytime markets move up and they have to retrace, it's testing liquidity. Why'd you move up? Because there were buyers. Why'd you pull down? Because there were sellers. Well, why do you go to the middle? Well, because the middle of buyers and sellers equals liquidity. By nature of moving to the middle is liquid between the buyers and the sellers. But even the open and close is special condition because there's both buyers and sellers at both places, which means it's already liquid. Therefore, this is liquidity squared. Hello?
For lunch, would you like garlic salmon or whole grain salmon?
Yo. Oh my god.
No, this is gonna cook quick, so I gotta know.
Yo, garlic salmon or maple glaze salmon? You know what I like? Soy ginger honey glaze. You ever done that before?
I already know, but I can make this.
I've never had maple. Let's do it. I want it for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try the method that you're really good at is searing the one a bit, and then how it goes.
So put a little oil
Uh-huh.
in the pan, like a little bit, not as much that it's covering the salmon up past the halfway point. So just like the salmon's this much, maybe like enough oil to cover maybe like a third of it. Yeah, you don't want it to be submerged.
Yeah.
And so you cook it at maybe like 2 or 3 minutes on both sides until it's like cooked. And then flip it over, cook it the other side, and then that's it. Then throw it in the oven and low with your sauce, and then finish it off in the middle. Yeah, that's all I ever do.
Oh.
Wait, this is your first time making salmon?
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh no. I make salmon for myself, but I'm also not very.
Wait, I'm picky?
Yes, you are.
What?
It's not that you're picky.
Why you gotta call me out like that?
You cook so well, and you always make salmon well, but this is the first time I'm doing it. So I'm kind of intimidated.
You can't really mess it up unless it's like cooked too much.
Do I have to bake it though? What if I like cook it to perfection? Can I just drizzle the...
You don't necessarily have to bake it, but what I do is I sear it on both sides, like really hot, sear, and it's still a little raw in the middle. So I bake it on low with the sauce on top of it, and the sauce will like turn into a glaze as it reduces in the oven. That's usually when I bake it a little bit.
I mean, I guess you don't eat into the like the skin wouldn't be as but
probably not. Yeah,
okay.
You don't have to bake it. If you cook it perfect, you don't have to bake it.
Let's see how it goes.
What are you skiing over there? What's going on? Are you practicing pizza? What are they called?
Pizza or what is it?
I forgot what the other one is.
Oh, no.
Soy honey habaneros, legit, dude. That does sound good, right? Dang, I'm getting spoiled today for lunch. What's up, guys? Don't forget the like button. We'll do MFU giveaway in a little bit as well. Let's get prepped for Fed. I might be running up and down, but after Fed announcement comes out, I'm probably gonna go downstairs and come back at the press conference. But MFFU scale giveaway. 5 accounts. We're giving away 10 accounts every day with My Funded Futures on this stream. So 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, 50 this weekend. All next month, My Funded Futures has blessed us with exclusive things for my stream only. We're getting exclusive discounts, exclusive buy one, get one frees, all kind of stuff. It's like the celebration month of Rocket Scooter. So you guys stay tuned in my stream because My Funded is giving us an exclusive bonus for just our stream. It's gonna be great. All right. Get my input on today's FOMC. So FOMC is likely to have a minimal impact on the market. 96% chance, 96, 97% chance we don't get a rate change. 7 out of the members believe we don't need a rate cut. The rest of them do. The question is when this year, just 1. In December, there were 4 that didn't think we need a rate cut. So there's more members that don't think we need a rate cut as before, but still the majority think we do. So we're likely to get a rate cut probably September. It'd be a surprise if we got it today. Nobody's betting on it. If we got it today, the market would probably rally a little bit as nobody's expecting it. I don't think we'll get anything today, so I don't think the FOMC is as important as earnings, which we do have Microsoft and Meta today. I think the FOMC is going to stay contained to a range, and then it might trade higher, and then Meta and stuff might push the market higher on earnings. So that's all I'm thinking today. And again, press conference might give us a dip. I don't think I'll get it though. I don't really think the market's going to move. There's no volatility yet. And because of that, the market's probably not going to respond crazily. When you logged off, IDOC was standing here, Mike, and when you came back on, she was here again. Oh, that's so funny. Wait, bro is a maple producer. Put on maple syrup. All right, we'll support your business, dude. I've never had maple salmon before. It's kind of cool. Soy honey habanero, legit. There you go. That actually sounds really good. I like, yeah, like soy. I do a soy ginger honey glaze with red pepper flakes, and it's like a spicy gingery honey. Is so good. Salmon smell P&L, but maple should be good. It's funny. All right. Mayo, wasabi, and furikake. That sounds actually pretty good, actually. It was like real wasabi, right? I love the furikake seasoning. It's like it's one of my favorite seasonings. I put it on just about everything. Some like real wasabi though, not like the horseradish kind. That sounds pretty good. So I have a bigger drawdown because end of the day drawdown shouldn't update. You have to reach the buffer, right? Yeah, once you reach your whatever, end of the day drawdown stays put. It's static. What time is earnings? Right after market. So typically within the hour, usually some of them are right after market, some of them are 15 minutes. They're usually staggered. It's 5 to 10 minutes apart. But be glued to your computer right after market closes. Within 10 minutes, you usually get the first one. No sugar too. Trying to get your 6-pack back. Yeah, you got to cut the sugar for that one. I think like for the glaze has a little bit of, we'll have a little bit of carbs in it though with the maple. Sear with olive oil, salt, and pepper. Yeah, that's really all you need, right? Where do you get real wasabi? I don't think I've ever been able to see any or get real wasabi. We have a bunch of Asian supermarkets here, but I've never looked for real wasabi. I don't know if they have it. Soy sauce, brown sugar, garlic, water. Use some cornstarch to thicken it. Uses a glaze. Season with Cajun seasoning. There you go. That's a whole different flavor to that. You gotta have some heat. And any kind of soy glaze or honey glaze for salmon, you always gotta have a little bit of heat. Give it some kick, or else it's just sugar meat. H-Mart. Yeah, we have H-Mart. We have 99 Ranch. Both nearby. H-Mart's like our usual go-to for all things Asian stuff. Ocean Market. We don't have one of those here. Yeah, so with wasabi, you buy it as the root, and you use like the fine cheese grater, or like the zester basically, and you grind it, and it kind of turns into like a paste while you're grinding it. It shreds up. It's almost like trying to grind a root vegetable, right? A root vegetable. So grinding like, you know, it kind of turns mushy. And and you basically use like the zester or something even thinner than that. Actually, not the zester. What is the other one? It's like the one that has like, they're like little pokes. It's not like grating it. It's like, I don't know what the hell what it's called. Your wife calls you sugar meat. It's hilarious. But I've seen when they do it. They do the and then it turns into like a paste while you're doing that. Like those little like spirally things. I've seen like them do it on cooking shows. What's the part about? Here, let's look it up. What is the anatomy of a cheese grater? All right, I actually googled cheese grater anatomy. Nope. It's this side right here. Whatever this is, the finely grate. It looks like little like this, like little prongs. You would use like something like that instead of trying to actually grate it. Like is that finely grate? Shred. Oh, wait, side 4, the side you already know and love. Okay, shred, finely grate, zesting. Yeah, it's like a little zester. That guy, that part. Is this prop trading? Yeah, this is prop trading. And also cooking with Matt. It's a little bit of both. Yeah, I've seen people do it. They like run circles on it instead of up and down. And it just like makes this like really smooth, creamy paste kind. Wait, HMR has one in a plastic tube? Okay, cool. Cool. Right, like those graters? Yeah, you're gonna, you know, it's gonna be like 90%, 99% wasabi, and then 1% grated knuckle skin, which is totally fine. So he says, what's my IQ map? It's pretty high. When I took IQ test when I was a kid, the number that always stuck with me was like when I was a kid, like low 150s. When I was a kid, I was tested. My IQ was tested when I was very, very young. My parents were trying to like debate on if I should graduate high school early or have a normal life, and my mom wanted me to have a normal life. My dad wanted me to be, you know, graduating high school at 12, sort of thing. Slightly Mensa Matt, LOL. I've never really cared as an adult to like take a test. Maybe I could take one of those online IQ tests or whatever. I never thought to sit there and care about it. I've been trading for 15 years. Paula's like, I took a test, I got a 136, but I think the test is faulty because I'm dumb. LOL. Taylor Swift supposedly has a 160 IQ. IQ is a very, like, to go off the charts and the non-standard 140, they have to have like a special test. Because I think the standard IQ test caps at 140. When I was a kid, I had some people, I just remember some people in suits came to the house and had briefcase, and they opened up the briefcase and had all kind of things in it. My parents were getting me tested for stuff when I was very, very, very young. I still remember sitting at my dining room table doing these tests with these dudes. I kind of felt like I was, like, in hindsight, it's like, that sounds like a scene from a movie, like, where they like, am I putting my elbow in the bowl to test if I'm the Dalai Lama or something? Or, which one of these items belong to you? Is he the one? Okay. Right, and Lost. Yeah, I'm quoting Lost, right? The episode where they were trying to find if John Locke was the one. And so, are you sure the knife is yours? Which one of these objects are yours? Yeah, I think young John Locke picking which one. No, they had me to some paper tests, some written tests, aptitude testing, and I don't know if it was a private institution that they were going through to get like before I went to school. I think I was like 5 or 6 at the time. Are my parents very smart? They are. But they're not like educated in any traditional sense. They went to high school and got normal lives. But my dad, when he talks, sounds very smart. My mom, when she talks, sounds very smart. And my son is extremely gifted. He's certainly genius level IQ. And I think we got some lucky genetic lottery, I guess. Retested by the Men in Black. They were I just remember these 2 dudes sitting there, and I can't picture their faces anymore, but they make me look in a camera. You got tested for rabies. Was that the CIA? Probably so, right? Testing me out for the space program. Who knows? Yeah, my son is very gifted. And I knew he was gifted by the time he was 3 years old. And I'm pushing him through what's not Kmart, Target. Pushing him to Target. He had just turned 3, and he's reading like stuff. Just like we're walking by something, and he just like, you know, at first he started talking, and then he started reading like immediately. And then he would read like, there was a sign, and he was like reading the sign in Spanish, and I was like, you can read that? He's like, yeah, I can read that. And I was like, what does this say? And he's like reading. It's just literally phonetically sounding out the words. Like he knew, before he knew the language, he was phonetically sounding out the words. So he knew like the construct of what makes a language. And so he was reading Spanish on a wet floor sign on the floor when he didn't know Spanish, when he just turned 3. So I was kind of like, that's kind of crazy. And then when he turned 4, I started teaching him how to play chess. And now he's 7. He whoops my ass in chess like 1 out of 3 times. So smarty pants kid. Super smart. Am I gonna watch the speech live? Yeah, we got 5 minutes little speech. Or actually 35 minutes little speech, yeah. It's not like a problem, man. I appreciate your insights. Yeah, I appreciate it. No. Very, very big fan. I love being a dad. It's fun. I love being a dad to a geeky little kid that likes Legos and stuff. That way I can be a Legos. Well, he's 7 now, so it's fun to have a kid that's like just like you, and you can be like nerds together. It's fun. And he's 7. He should be. Can you news trade with MFFU anytime? Yeah, you can news trade in all your accounts except for the funded pro. You can news trade in the eval pro though. And in all the eval and funded on core and scale, you can trade news trade. In funded X, you can news trade as well. You just spent the weekend in Legoland? Oh, that's fun, man. So I think he's gonna be a trader. No, I don't think he's gonna be a trader. I wouldn't wish trading upon anybody if they don't already have a love for it. I would like him to do something more practical, but if he's good at trading and wants to do it, that'd be cool. He kind of wants to be a psychiatrist. That's what he's been saying for the last year. I feel like most kids at 7 want to be like dinosaurs or cowboys or something, or spacemen. He wants to be a feelings doctor, according to himself. And when he was 5, he goes, I have a video of him saying, I want to go to MIT. And I was like, really? Yeah. I was like, how do you even know what that is? I don't know. I just want to go there. I was like, okay. So he's already planning out his future, apparently. So he's going to be a feelings doctor. Kids always be astronauts. I know, right? Astronauts sound so cool. But I'm like super hyper specific. He wants to be a psychiatrist. I'm like, all right. I want to help people with their feelings. Okay. And that sounds like a cool path. You just guessed where your son went to school in Harvard? I mean, at MIT. He's like, I'd like to go to MIT. I'm like, oh boy, I better go make some money trading. Ugh. Teach him Python. He's already learning Python. He's already learning coding. So he goes to like a coding robotics camp thing, and he's learning coding and programming different robots already. He really enjoys it. So should I watch Dexter with him? LOL. That would be kind of That'd be fun. That's a funny thought in my head. Your kid went to MIT 11. Okay, cool. How do I have an algo by now? I think, you know, for automating all the stuff, it wasn't until basically last August when we finally finalized this like 2.0 version of all the techniques. Once we finally had a full back test to really understand what it is we're dealing with, now it's time to start thinking about automating this for myself. I had a talk with somebody earlier in the year about doing this, because now that I have a full understanding of the strongest points of my strategies, it's probably a good time to try to automate some of it. Yeah. Could you do a short summary pitch of your course on my bootcamp? Yeah, so bootcamp is a $20 thing. We have thousands of people that take it. It's probably the biggest thing we do. It's designed to be cheap because we're not trying to make money on it. And it goes over 3 core principles of what I think every trader needs to learn. It's trend identification, like when you need to be a bear, when you need to be a bull. Then the second part is position sizing strategies, risk management, position sizing mostly, the right size to bet and how to bet properly. And then number 3 is market avoidance strategies, when to stay away. So we teach you guys how to look for volume pivots and how to make a good judgment call at a volume pivot, which direction you need to trade it, and how to set risk and reward for yourself and the right size to trade. It's all the pieces of trading. It's like a master class in betting. And the jokes people say in here is that once you leave my bootcamp, you're a master bettor. So most trading classes are like chart reading classes, how to read the charts, how to read the candles. Now, our class is like 0 of that. Its most focus is on how much you're trading and where to find pivots. We're not teaching you candle patterns or anything like that. So 1 minute left on FOMC. Let's get ready to go. I got my financial juice open. You guys load it up. Trump playing the talk, like talking a minute before FOMC. That sounds fun. Don't think we're going to get anything big for FOMC. Looks like the numbers that come out. Interest rate decision, no change. Market's pretty much doing nothing on that. No change. I didn't think we would get anything. Resilience is good. Volatility is still the same. No change. Market's probably going to do nothing from here except for probably go up. But I don't, again, momentum, maybe, maybe not. As you see, the first initial decision is just a tiny little bump. A market is moving around pretty quickly. Expected news has come out. We're still rallying off of that. VIX is coming down, which is good. I wouldn't be fading this or shorting this. All evidence is pretty decent. Resilience is a greater than 0, which means they're supporting the open. Redistribution zone should be support. S&P is pushing a little higher as well. Pretty nice. Yeah, no rate change. So should be all right to kind of hang on to this. Let's wait for the press conference. So remember, the real juice of this is waiting for the press conference. So don't be too overeager. Let's read some of the data. Suggests growth of economic activity moderated in the first half of 2025. Okay. Let me tweet this. I bring this live, you guys. Okay, so like I said, no longing for me yet. What the heck? All right, let's go here. All right. So no change. That was expected. We kind of called that, right? All right, let's see what's going on here. Price pulling back a little bit. I might actually get some selling today. What do y'all think? Market looks like it's going to try to sell off. People trying to sell the expected news. Yeah, no rate cut. Small caps are getting hammered. Oh, thank you. Let's check that out. See if we get on Russell's side. Okay, platform, can you load up the Russell, please? Okay, looks like a platform resetting really quick here. Alrighty. Froze for a hot minute. Small cap selling a little bit, yep. Not logged into futures account? What the heck? Okay, let me log off and log back on. Hang tight, guys. You'll tell them what happened to my platform there. It just like froze and logged me out. We're back. All right. Wait, bulls on bottom on SPY right here, right? EST on the long side. Do I want to attempt it along on SPY? Do I want to try it? Res is good, slightly coming down. Should I take the EST setup? Maybe I can try it. What do y'all think? I technically could trade it. I also can get the bear zone top. Maybe we should probably put something on it. This is a long setup right here off of the bounce. Market has fallen to that area. I don't think we're going to sell off, but I might like to get this on the long side. I know this is a really bad entry. I wish I was in 5 points sooner. White House has also got some releases right now. Some Trump signing executive order implementing another 40% tariff on Brazil, bringing the total tariff to 50%. All right. So I don't think we're going to sell off on this. I don't think so. Let me get everything prepped and ready for some FOMC action. I could long this. I get some red candle, I'll long it. I'd like to, I know I'm kind of missing the boat here on this, but let me see if I can get, maybe I can get some. Ideally, the market just continues to go from here. We'd have earnings at the end of the day, so that might put a damper on some kind of movement. But press conference is really gonna make things move. Remember, the first 5 minutes is usually just like you stay the course, and then roughly like between 5 and 15 minutes, you usually will get a little bit extra. So now the market's kind of like the knee jerk is over. We started here, we're ending here. We back to where we started. It's a non-event. We price it in. Now the market's going to really decide is it's pre-positioning for press conference. It's really kind of questionable. All signs are still pointing up. So not really fearing this market today. Again, it's going to sell off. It might actually just rally. How much range do we get today? 560 down to 512. So about 50 points of move. Bulls on bottom, go burr. Yeah. You think selling pressure is more favorable? It's very possible during the press conference the market gets a little nasty. So we'll see. Don't want to do anything though. Not in the first 5 minutes. If you were to tell me to pick a direction, I would be picking long right now. VIX is pulling back. VVIX is chilling. It tapped 100 but pulled back. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any selling off of this. It's getting very stable. Yeah, it's probably going to stay the course, and I think earnings might kick us up one more notch. Oops, let me log into this. My browser crashed. Boo 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 boo. Does my platform trading still also work with gold? This is correct. It does. Yeah. You want a dip so you can get in? I would like a dip so I can get in as well. I feel ya, brother. Supporting red line pretty good. So this is a key pivot point right here. It might just keep going up. I don't really feel like we're gonna get a dip. So I think we're gonna push. Solid day. Wall Street's pretty okay with the idea that we had rate cuts, so not really too crazy about it. So I'm not gonna do anything yet. I'm gonna wait for press conference. I think I'm gonna get my good juice there. I feel like that's gonna be where the juice is gonna be. Oops. What the John Wicks, LOL, right? Is this today the market dumps? Yes. Hello. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. And it comes on like a tray and everything?
I'm tired of playing the
Dang. Oh, it smells good too. Thank you. Thanks, babe. Dang.
I need you to try the salmon.
Give me a second. I'm like in the middle of doing some stuff, baby.
Okay.
All right. Hold on. Wait, wait, wait. Wait. Oh. Dang, bro. Look at this. Look at how healthy this is. She's trying to keep me alive or something. Look at this. Oh, wait. You guys can't see. Hold on. Look at that. Ain't that something else? Yeah.
I want to be here to see this. I haven't even tried it.
Wait, what is this? The glaze?
Yeah, that's the remainder of the glaze.
Dang, it's juicy. Okay. Wow. Dang, that's good. That's perfect. How'd you cook this?
Exactly how you said it. Internal temperature 145. Exactly.
Mhm.
Took it out right then.
Right, you do oven or did you skillet?
Both skillet and then oven.
Dang, that's good. Thanks, babe. Woo.
Alright. I saved one more salmon for you.
Wow. What you got coming over?
Now. Hang you up.
Thanks, doll. And
Yeah.
flowers today? Like what did you do? Did you mess up? Did you cheat on me? Like what's going on here?
Cheat on you.
What'd you do wrong?
I'm just congratulating you for getting chat 60 accounts for giveaway from Funded Next.
What did you break?
Huh?
What'd you break?
Actually, there are people that you're hiring to break stuff downstairs as we speak.
Do I need to go down there and supervise?
No, I think they're fine. They're like jamming out. It's actually quite cute.
Oh, nice.
They're singing like Hispanic music.
Very cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna let them use this.
What speaker? Oh, the speaker.
The JBLs.
Heck yeah. All right. Y'all have fun.
It'll be cultural.
Y'all have fun.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for the salmon, man. It's really good. I'm trying to do here. All right. I'm holding off. The market's probably going to maybe sell off a little bit. Trying to. What do y'all think? Gonna wait on this and see if anything cool happens. least Nasdaq is pulling down a little bit. Resilience is monthly resilience has moved around. So we have some stock is breaking MHP, and I know it was one of the, it was Meta, I think, was right on the edge. No, maybe it's Microsoft. One of the two that had earnings today was right on the edge. Yep, it is Microsoft. So Microsoft is threading some MHP breakage. Curious to see what goes on here. If I know my market, it's going to rally really hard, but I'm not going to take a long from here. It's flat, it's doing nothing, and let's just see if anything bad happens, right? Amazon also dropping. Yep, we're seeing it. So back on the maps, just double checking where some dips to buy on. I've got A pluses all down in here to play on S&P. That's, you know, 40 points lower, 30 points lower, 35. This is 100. This is what? 3.5 times 40, so 140. 140 points there on Nasdaq is zones. So we have like tons of A plus down in here. I don't know if we're gonna get close to it, but maybe. Maybe. Yeah. So remember, the first 5 minutes, you have a knee jerk, then you usually return to where you start if it's expected. The next 15 minutes starts to pick a direction. And then, you know, the direction right now is it tried to rally and then it's failing out. Now the press conference is going to give us some volatility. I don't know if we're going to get like a big rally or a big sell-off. We might just get a lot of chop. Might be untradeable, which kind of sucks. But also it's good to like not waste your time. No giveaway yet. Haven't done it yet. Just as expected, you know, the FOMC didn't surprise anybody. We got exactly what everybody thought we're going to get. So. Oh, that salmon's good. Oh, it's so good, man. Well, friends, we'll be doing our giveaway as soon as the press conference starts, and like maybe towards the end, we'll do the giveaway spin. Well, actually, why don't we do it now? We have some time to kill. All right, let's do me a favor, you guys. We're gonna give away 5 My Fund and Future Scale accounts. Hold on, let me find. That's yesterday. Let me type. Hold on, don't do anything yet. Let's do it before the press conference. That way we can focus on trading. Hold on. Slightly bathroom mat. Hold on. No, that guy's gone. Hold on. I don't know where I put my thing at. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, my fund and futures. No selling right now. Market's trying to do something. Always, you know, always pushing up. Good old faithful market. Never selling off. Up and up it goes. All right, team. We got something special planned for y'all. Little uneventful, boring-ish FOMC day. Still pushing higher. No dip, no selling, trickle higher. Let the candles hit the floor.
Monthly maps and bear zone markets start to bleed. Monthly maps and bear zone markets start to bleed. DD's less than half. I'm cashing in my greed.
We got some fiddler on the roof going on here.
MHP broke down, side now watch my profits grow. 1, see it crash. 2, stack that cash. 3, feel the rush. 4, markets turn to dust.
That's a funny song.
Let the candles hit the floor. Let the candles hit the floor.
So when I thought like let the candles hit the floor, I was expecting it to say like, because that was the title, let the candles hit the floor. Let the, like, you know, like the song Bodies. Okay, cool, cool. Please don't go down on me. All right, funky song. All right, my fund and future scale account, right? Brand new account type they've come out with is a modification of the former Starter Plus, right? Starter Plus was a great like middle tier place for you to get pretty big payouts without having to put in all the money to go for the Pro, which is straight up the big lump sum payout account. About half the price of your Pro account. TP winner number 1. Type something in chat. So what makes scale pretty good is that basically there's no daily loss limit, no consistency, none whatsoever on the sim side of things. It's 50% consistency on the 2-day pass on the eval. Once you're in, you're in. And then essentially you get payouts every 5 days. You get 3,000 every 5 days, 3,500 5 days, 4,000 after 5 days, and it gets bigger, 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 and bigger. And as soon as you get 30 winning days, they kick it alive, which is pretty simple and straightforward. And it's actually a very affordable plan. That's what Scale is really good about. Very similar to the Starter Plus, except it has bigger payouts. They took the Starter Plus and made it like a whole lot better is basically what it was. So that's the Scale. We're giving away 5 of those right now. You guys can check it out. Like I said, code Rocket Scooter. Keep using our code anywhere out there supporting our community. Obviously, there's a ton of affiliate codes to use. I think a lot of affiliates need you to pay their apartment rent or pay their mom for the room they rent in the basement. I don't know. Here, we give away 240 accounts every month starting next month on this stream and another 500 on my fund. And we give away more accounts on this stream than any 10 streams put together. That's how big it is here. All right, TP. We want to make sure that we leverage our popularity in the space to get you guys a bunch of free stuff. So you guys keep using our code with our partners. Like I said, Funded Next was like when we first met them, they're like, yeah, we'll give you 8. We've heard about you. And then after 3 months of working with them, they're giving me 60 to give away every month now. So the more you guys use our code, the more I'm going to go yell at them to give away free accounts. Help us give away free accounts. So. I also have to take a phone call. Oh, press conference is starting soon. Let's get ready for it. Papa Lindo. You guys got to type something in chat. Y'all are taking way too long. We're missing the press conference. Papa Lindo, pay attention. I'm gonna have to do the rest of this after the press conference. Enter the contest and go take a piss. This is what I'm telling you guys. Y'all got to type something in chat. All right, he's ruined. All right, there we go. Thank you, thank you. All right, we got to stop this for now. Okay, let's get the press conference going. Hold on. Hold on.
The Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. We believe that the current stance of monetary policy leaves us
Thank you, bud. All right.
to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments. I will have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing.
Oh, we forgot to do the guess what Pal's gonna say game. Oh well, we'll do it next time. He's gonna talk about the labor market. He's gonna talk about
GDP rose at a 1.2% pace in the first half.
Labor market stalling. He's going to talk about pass-through of costs on the customers from tariffs. He's now at CPI is low, but it's not as low as it needs to be.
Stronger at 3%. Focusing on the first half of the year helps smooth through the volatility in the quarterly figures.
We can't miss those carefully worded statements and answers that says exactly what he's always said every single time, all the time.
Growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. In contrast, business investment in equipment and intangibles picked up from last year's pace. Activity in the housing sector remains weak. In the labor
Michael
market,
Wynn.
conditions have remained solid. Payroll job gains averaged 150,000 per month over the past 3 months. The unemployment rate at 4.1% remains low and has stayed in a narrow range over the past year. Wage growth has continued to moderate while still outpacing inflation. Overall, a wide
Let me work
set of
on this other
indicators
account here.
suggests
If
that
I were to
conditions
trade,
in
I'm
the
going to
labor
trade on this
market
one.
are broadly in balance and consistent with maximum employment. Inflation has eased.
Michael Wynn,
from its highs
type something in chat. You guys are slow.
But remains somewhat
Michael Wynn. Michael wins.
longer run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.5%
Okay.
over the
Michael
12
doesn't
months
win.
ending in June, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.7%. These readings are little changed from the beginning of the year, although the underlying composition of price changes.
I can't turn it up. It's maxed out.
Services inflation has continued to ease, while increased tariffs are pushing up prices in some categories of goods. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs, as reflected in both market-based and survey-based measures. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the...
Oh, sorry, Margie Scribbles. Margie, my bad.
At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate.
Stop saying tariffs, right?
4.5%.
Margie Scribbles.
Size of our balance sheet. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance of monetary policy based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks.
Congrats, Margie.
Changes to government policies continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain. Higher tariffs have begun to show through more clearly to prices of some goods, but their overall...
Damn, pal, look at this. Shocking that now the market's starting to pick up some steam.
A reasonable base case is that the effects on inflation could be short-lived,
I was kind of thinking...
reflecting a one-time...
Wait, short-lived? He said short-lived again last time. He's not saying short-lived. He can't read the script right.
To be assessed and managed.
He literally said short-lived a second time. I yelled at him last time for saying the same damn thing.
Inflation expectations well anchored.
He did that last time. He literally did that. Remember that?
Becoming an ongoing inflation problem. For the time being,
Oh my gosh, pal.
to learn more about
He's like
the
nervous or
economy
something.
and the evolving balance of risks before adjusting our policy stance.
He didn't even rehearse
We
the
see our
script.
current policy stance as appropriate to guard against inflation risks. We're also attentive to risks on the employment side of our mandate. In coming months, we will receive a good amount of data that will help inform
We
our
win.
assessment of the balance
Here,
of
come on.
risks and
You guys got to type it faster. We got to get to the press conference. This giveaway's taking way too long.
At this
Way
meeting,
too
the
long.
committee continued its discussions as part of our 5-year
I don't get it, guys.
review of our monetary policy framework. We focused on
We
potential
wins.
revisions to our statement on longer
As obvious as this has been, nice little, there we go. There you go. All right, you guys got to type something.
any modification
Congrats, congrats,
by
congrats.
summer.
One more.
The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We at the Fed will
Yellow
do what
dog.
we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
All right, the five of you.
A lot of lean in the markets, and not to mention out of the administration for a rate cut now in September. Is that expectation unrealistic at this point?
Good job. You guys are going to love the scale plan. It's really awesome.
As you know, today we decided to leave our policy rate where it's been, where I would characterize as modestly restrictive. Inflation is running a bit above 2%, as I mentioned, even excluding tariff effects. The labor market's solid, historically low unemployment.
Holy shit.
Financial conditions are accommodative, and the economy is not...
Market going crazy. Market's going crazy right now.
Restrictive policy, we're holding it back.
I told you the press conference market just goes
It
nuts.
seems to me and to almost the whole committee that the economy is not performing as though restrictive policy is holding it back inappropriately, and modestly restrictive policy seems appropriate. All that said, there's also downside risk to the labor market. In coming months,
All right, the five of you guys that won.
amount of data that will help inform our assessment of the balance of risks and the appropriate setting of the federal funds rate.
The fuck is this market going on? These candles are crazy. 30, 40 point dips in NASDAQ.
2 rounds of jobs and inflation data between now and the September meeting. Is that potentially adequate to make a decision to lower rates at that point?
So you're right. We do have, this is an
Hold on one second.
intervening period when we'll get 2 full rounds of employment and inflation data before the time of the September meeting. We have made no decisions about September. We don't do that in advance. We'll be taking that information into consideration and all the other information we get as we make our decision at the September meeting.
Dude, this market's going nuts right now while he's talking.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You took out the word or the notion that uncertainty has diminished from this statement. Does that mean uncertainty has increased? And I'm just wondering, the administration has struck several deals with large trading partners where it seems like we now know what the rate is going to be. Does knowing that rate add to your certainty to change policy, or do you need to wait to see the economic effects?
So essentially, the statement in our statement about uncertainty.
I told you it gets really really nasty. And again, I don't have any A+ setups. So there's nothing really to trade right now.
The last meeting, uncertainty had moved down a little bit, but it was more or less even this time. So we took out, had diminished because it didn't diminish further. So there's not really much in that. And then your second question is, say again?
There have been several deals that have been struck, and now we seem to have an idea of what the tariff rates are going to be with some of our large trading partners. Does that not add to the kind of certainty you might need, or is it you're waiting for the economic effects to show themselves?
No, I think we're still, you're right, it's been a very dynamic time for these trade negotiations, and lots and lots of events in the intervening period, but we're still a ways away from seeing where things settle down. We are clearly getting more and more information, and I think at this point, people's estimates, our estimates, outside estimates of the likely effective level of tariffs is not moving around that much at this point, but at the same time, there are many uncertainties left to resolve. So yes, we are learning more and more. It doesn't feel like we're very close to the end of that process, and that's not for us to judge, but it feels like there's much more to come, as well looking ahead.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. Neil Rubin, Axios. This morning we got a GDP report in which final domestic private purchases decelerated, slowest pace since 22.
Like a little pullback. I was thinking we might get some pullback and some A set up in here.
Residential investment, commercial structures. Are those not signs that monetary policy is a little?
Are anybody longing this or shorting this? What are you guys doing?
So the
Market trying to sell off a little bit.
Numbers came in pretty much right where we expected them to come in. You got to look at the whole picture. So certainly, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, economic activity, GDP,
giveaway winners.
domestic final purchases, which we think is a narrower but better signal for future, for where the economy is going, has come down to
Giveaway winners. Go to my Discord.
0.2%, I think, in the case of GDP.
Go to
Whereas it was 2.5 last year. So that has certainly come down. But if you look at the labor market, what you see is, by many statistics,
go to my Discord. Go to link is in description below. Go to the contest channel. Look up an admin named Slacks.
and let alone the unemployment rate, they're all very
Send Slacks a message.
very similar to where they were. A year ago.
Show him a picture of your YouTube ID. Log into your YouTube account and take a screenshot. That way we know it's you.
Also in a slow
Then tell him you won the contest. Have a My Funded Futures account already, and tell him the email you signed up that account with.
bit, partially because both
Remember, guys, I told you today on My Funded TV
is coming
that
down at the same pace.
0 to 5 minutes the market moves. 5 to 15 minutes, it picks a direction. And then when the press conference starts, it picks a bigger direction. So you can kind of see the 3 different phases, right? The non-event,
Stable prices and maximum employment.
the direction that it tried to do, and then the press conference is the big move. It's the same every time. We've done enough Fed meetings that it's always the same.
Above target, and even if you look through the tariff effects, we think it's still a bit above target, and that's why our stance is where it is. But as I mentioned, downside risks to the labor market are certainly apparent.
So on labor, given the fluid labor supply situation, is there a number for this jobs report we get on Friday that would look to you like equilibrium job growth?
The main number you have to look at now is the unemployment rate, because
We're not getting job growth because,
demand for work.
well, JOLTS did tick down this last time.
Payroll jobs, that
Participation rate is low, and JOLTS have been ticking up in general as a trend as fewer and fewer people are going out and getting jobs. These wages aren't enough
as long as
to stimulate people to get off their ass and go work.
The fact that it's getting into balance due to declines in both supply and demand, though, I think it is suggestive of downside risk. So we of course, will be watching that carefully.
What happened to the data audio feed? Pal, where'd you go?
And how you're weighing their views against those on the committee who, as of the June forecast, were in the camp of the Fed holding interest rates steady for the remainder of the year. And just in terms of the June SEP in particular, is that still the best representation?
Why does this keep shutting off? Hold on, let me try this again. Let me open in YouTube.
That today. So I think basically this was quite a good meeting all around the table where people were thought carefully about this and put their positions out there. As I mentioned, the
On TBT. Oh, so you can't do news trading?
was of the view that inflation's a bit above target, maximum employment is at target. That calls for modestly restrictive.
We do have earnings today that's going to be pushing a lot of this around.
Now. But we had two dissenters who I think, you want that clear thinking and expression of your thinking, and we certainly had that today, I think all around the table. In terms of, you asked about the June SEP, I wouldn't, that you're right, that's what it says, and that may well, I couldn't point to it 6 weeks later as expressing people's thought. You really can't do that. We don't run an SEP, and I don't like to substitute in my own estimate of what the SEP might be. We don't have one. So I'll just say that, we haven't made any decisions about September. We'll be monitoring all the incoming data and asking ourselves whether the federal funds rate is in the right place.
And just on the point about policy being only modestly restrictive, does that mean that there's
So
actually
no
not
rate
much
cuts in the
scope to
future. He's
reduce
hinting at
rates
that.
Once the conditions for a cut
Or,
are
no, sorry, no, sorry. He's hinting at no decision has been made yet.
My own estimate
Sorry,
is modestly
I said that wrong.
restrictive, and there are a range of views
For September, which is where people are anticipating the rate cut to be.
for our economy, and so others may say it's more restrictive or less restrictive.
Microsoft MHP break. Oh, thanks for letting me know.
We're going to be
That's big.
at some point when we return to moving toward a more neutral stance, we'll be making that judgment as we go. I don't think we have a preset.
S&P held half gap again. Our resilience is going right close to zero. So be careful today that we don't rush to fill a gap. Again, we got bulls in bottom. We got liquidity pocket all down in here. We haven't tapped that A+ just yet.
We know it by its
I
works,
love to get it
and that
though.
will be how the way the economy reacts.
I would
over
love
time
to get it.
to slightly looser policy.
Nick Timmeros, The Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, my question is about what have you learned over the last few months about the inflation generating and price pass-through process? And just to drill down, the June CPI report showed evidence of tariff-induced goods inflation. Now, the tariff landscape is only starting to be settled with some of these more recent deals. Given the lags between when tariffs are announced and when they show up in goods prices, is 2 months a long enough horizon to evaluate the impact and be confident that tariffs aren't impacting the broader inflation process?
I think you have to think of this as still quite early days. And so I think what we're seeing now is substantial amounts of tariff revenue being collected on the order of $30 billion a month, which is substantially higher than before. And the evidence seems to be mostly not paid only to a small extent through exporters lowering their price, and companies or retailers, sort of people who are upstream, institutions that are upstream from the consumer, are paying most of this for now. Consumers it's starting to show up in consumer prices, as you know, in the June report. We expect to see more of that. And we know from surveys that companies feel that they have every intention of putting this through to the consumer, but the truth is they may not be able to in many cases. So I think we're just going to have to watch and learn empirically how much of this and over what period of time. I think we've learned that the process will probably be slower than expected at the beginning, but we never expected it to be fast. We think we have a long way to go to really understand exactly how it will be. So that's how we're thinking of it right now.
So if I could follow up, is the reticence to look through core goods inflation being driven by the judgment that during the pandemic, expectations proved more adaptive than anyone at the Fed expected? Is it being driven by uncertainty over how restrictive policy is?
You could argue we are a bit looking through goods inflation by not raising rates. We haven't reacted to new inflation, but I mean, I wouldn't insist upon that. But I don't think, I think the base case, as I said, a reasonable base case is that these are one-time price effects. Of course, in the end, there will not be. This will not turn out to be inflation because we'll make sure that it's not. We will, through our tools, make sure that this does not move from being a one-time price increase to serious inflation. We want to do that efficiently, though.
MHP freaking Microsoft is the big deal. This could bring the market down a little bit, especially because Microsoft is earnings today.
You wind up maybe not getting
I need my
inflation
salmon
all the
real
way
quick.
fixed, and you have to come back. That's inefficient. If you move too late, you might do unnecessary damage to the labor market. So,
Remember, MHP breaking Microsoft is a big deal.
Inflationary problem. What we're trying to do is accomplish that in a way that is efficient. But in the end, there should be no doubt that we will do what we need to do to keep inflation under control. Ideally, we do it efficiently.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Television and Radio. The one big bill.
What's up, It Flies? What's up, dude?
Adjectives. Do you expect it to add stimulus to the economy in 2020?
I'm watching this on YouTube right now.
An argument for remaining on hold or cutting back.
Financial Juice has the link as well.
You would expect for next year?
So, of course, let me just ritual disclaimer that we.
Sorry, I was like slamming my salmon.
Or anything like on fiscal.
Oh, Slamming Salmon. I love that movie. Did y'all ever see that one? It's one of the Broken Lizard movies. The
biggest part of the bill was making permanent
the guys that made Super Troopers.
existing law on taxes. I don't think we see it as particularly stimulative. There should be some stimulative effect, but it shouldn't be
I thought that movie was really funny.
over the next couple of years.
And to follow up, what do you, well, I don't want to put this in terms of you and the president, so let me ask it this way. Do you have concerns about the cost to the government of keeping rates elevated?
We got meat
for
drapes.
longer in terms
It's
of-
Madropity, sir. Well, don't sound like that when I say it. Whatever, motherfucker.
A mandate, and that's maximum employment and price stability.
It was so funny in that movie, man. I loved. He was hilarious. If you've never seen Slammin' Salmon,
The cost to the government.
that was Michael Clark Duncan's, I think, last movie before he died. One of his last
Goal
movies.
variables Congress has given us, use the tools they've given us to
Whatever, motherfucker.
those goals, and that's what we do.
He played such a funny character. He was like the complete comic relief of that movie. He was like so funny.
And it wouldn't be good for
Whipping the P&L.
If we did do that, it would be good neither for our credibility nor for the credibility of U.S. fiscal policy. So it's just not something we take into consideration.
Victoria.
He said, well, if a trip to the Bahamas ain't going to get the molasses out of your asses, maybe $10,000 to do the trick.
Federal Reserve's headquarters that the administration.
You know what feels good? He goes like, you know what 10 grand feels like in your pocket? He goes, top waiter here leaves tonight with 10 grand in his pocket. You know what 10 grand feels like in your pocket? Feels like a third cock. Jesus, how many cocks do you have, champ? Are you lampooning me, meat drapes?
Something that happens very often. That
You want your punch in the eye, guy? I can make your face look like a pie, guy.
But it was a good visit.
Are there any aspects of the project that they've raised that you see as?
You say whatever motherfucker self. That's so
Any
funny.
aspects of the project?
So, this project.
Yeah, so it's like, if you guys saw Super Troopers, you know, that was funny. They made a restaurant spoof movie.
Clearing it through.
And Michael Clark Duncan played like this, like almost like Mike Tyson sort of like boxing champ that's retired, and he's like this famous celebrity that owns this like restaurant called Slammin' Salmon. And he's just like this hilarious, cartoonish like version of a Mike Tyson that's just like super into himself, and he's the champ of everything, and he does ridiculous things with his money.
As soon as possible.
But but I remember the movie came out. It came out like right in the financial crisis. I remember it did get a lot of press because it came out probably in like 2008, somewhere in then.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Andrew Ackerman.
And so, you know, it didn't.
What message do you take?
It kind of got messed up by the recession.
1% last September and has bounced higher since.
EST SPY, should I take it?
Financial conditions are restrictive. And
Bear zone top. Yeah.
Stopped falling for almost a year.
So inflation.
Let's do one.
When you talk about these 12-month inflation.
Just one. I don't want to play with heavy. Just one contract. EST SPY.
So we'll have, for example, 2 months of high inflation sometimes early in the year, and then inflation turns
Yeah, good call.
lower, and a lot of that may just be an artifact. So that's why we look at the 12-month number.
Prosper, nice job today, dude.
I think inflation is most of the way.
Nice action day. Easy to trade both directions. Yeah, today wasn't too hard, right?
Like the catch-up inflation. So, for example, all the insurance costs that are now, they're only now going through
Dang, that's
inflation,
salmon's
but they
good.
actually reflect inflationary pressures from 2-3 years ago. So That's got to go through. In addition, now we have 3 or 4 tenths of inflation in core inflation from tariffs. So, and we can't really separate that out. We're not going to have a separate kind of inflation that isn't the tariffs. We're always going to be dealing with all of inflation. But the composition, as I mentioned, has really changed. And if you go back to the last couple of years, it was all about services inflation, which was being very sticky. Now services inflation is coming down nicely. Goods inflation was well behaved before, and now goods inflation is going up. So the story has really changed. That's partially because of tariffs. It's also partially because we had restrictive policy in place, and we've seen that the result of that gradually work its way through the services economy.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to ask is, are you comfortable that BLS can continue performing
I do
their
too.
mission
Why not?
effectively if they take an 8% reduction in headcount and authorized spending as the administration has proposed?
Liquidity pocket, S&P, bear zone, bull zone. I have hedge pressure line up with it. But hedge pressure resilience is negative, so maybe I shouldn't do too.
Jobs, and I think it's really important that good data helps not just the Fed, it helps the government. But
DD's
also the
good though.
private sector. People in the
It's probably a
economy,
terrible idea.
They use this data a lot too, so it's quite important for our economy and certainly for the Fed's work and other government agencies.
And guys, that sandwich you made was good.
Get better at data.
I got flowers today and everything, man.
Been getting better and better and better. It's very hard to.
That's why I was like telling her, I was like, what did you break?
The output of a $20+ trillion economy.
I just want to do one, not
It's been a
two.
leader in that for 100 years, and we really need to continue that, in my view.
Market crashed out absolutely fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Edward Lawrence from Fox Business.
Well, I'm touching this on one account. That's it. I'm barely touching the market today.
No significant upward trend in inflation over the past 6 months. That the wait and see approach for inflation is actually giving companies cover to raise prices.
How concerned am I that say that again?
Yeah, SPY S&P,
Wait and see approach. What do you mean by that?
liquidity pocket here. Negative resilience, which means it's going to have a hard time breaking through though and pushing up higher.
So it's a wait and see approach.
Well, so that that's where policy's restrictive. When we start cutting it, it'll go toward neutral.
Okay, this delay though, where you're saying.
Oh, hold on one second. I got a meeting in a second. Hold on here.
Which possibly could lead into bigger inflation or more inflation. Is that giving companies cover though to raise prices?
Well, what may be giving, it's not our policy stance, what may be giving some companies will certainly be taking advantage of the fact of the tariffs and all the discussion of how they're going to, companies will raise prices when and as they can. And so you saw it famously in the first administration of President Trump. During those tariffs,
10 points, I'm out.
washing machines were tariffed, but
All right, I'm just gonna stop on that.
what do you know? The price of dryers went up too, just like washing machines. So
Dang, that short side looking great. What about Nasdaq looks like? See, it looks good.
if you know what I mean, that'll happen. We don't see
Bulls on bottom, Nasdaq could be pretty nice
what we
today.
see now is basically the very beginnings.
Those of you shorting the market, man, y'all played out pretty good.
On goods inflation, and I'll say again, they may be less than people estimate or more than people estimate. They're not going to be zero. Consumers will pay some of this. Businesses will pay some of this. Retailers will pay some of this. But we're just going to have to see it through.
And just a follow, if I could, some additional tariffs have been in place since February, and things really haven't broken yet with the economy. So how do you justify to somebody who's looking for a house, who's facing a 7% mortgage and maybe can't afford those rates? How do you justify that?
Well, so the housing is.
So I'll probably get liquidity pocket on Nasdaq if we can get that big drop there. Market's selling off really hard today, guys, and I'm glad I didn't chase the long. I waited, not doing much. Take a stab at it, and yeah, it's all right. All my accounts are green today. Yep, 0 red. That's pretty nice.
Not the overnight Fed's rate. It's not that we don't have any effect. We do have an effect, but we're not the main effect. There are other things going on in the housing sector, and one of those is just as kind of a long-term housing shortage that we have. We haven't built enough housing. This is not something the Fed can help with, and that'll be the case even after things normalize. So I think the best thing that we can do for housing is to have 2% inflation and maximum employment, and that's what we can contribute to housing.
So Nasdaq has a liquidity pocket down in here that I'm looking to get at.
That's what we're trying to do.
Here to here.
A lot of progress toward that. We have a very good
here.
market right now, Inflation, we were very close to 2%. We're seeing some goods inflation move us away, but so far not very far away.
Chris.
Hi, Chair Powell. Thank you. Well, can you give us a little more about what kind of economic data does the Fed need to see before you'll be ready to cut? I mean, do you need inflation back nearly to target?
Dude, that hourly candle is just gnarly. Look at that.
Do you need to see weekly?
Dang, I don't even know if I want to buy this dip off of that. I don't know, guys. I know EST is EST, but sometimes, I'm just kidding.
But
Should be all right for NASDAQ at least.
you saw that the risks to the two goals were moving into balance. If they were fully in balance, that would imply that you should move toward a more neutral stance of policy. This is the special situation.
Just
we're
short?
in.
Nah.
Two-sided
If you guys are shorting, congrats to y'all. I just, you know me, like boom arms to sit out. I took one stab long. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do nothing until I get to my A+.
above target, and the labor market was pretty good. So you know, that was a time when policy was restrictive when we paused.
I just have a meeting right now.
Is to be
What the heck?
supporting a return to our inflation target, right? So
Hold on.
into balance, you would think you'd move in a way closer to neutral, and that the next steps that we take are likely to be in that direction. What will it take? You know, it'll be the totality.
Oh, hold on.
As I mentioned.
Oh, okay, guys, I got to go for a minute. I'm going to do the meeting. Oh shit, I got to jump on.
You know, it's really hard to say. We don't
Go downstairs and have this meeting on my laptop. I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
We'll have to see.
Well, I guess just in terms of inflation, though, for example, like some people would point to if it remains only in goods and it doesn't bleed over to services, then maybe that's evidence.
I have a meeting right now, so I got to go, guys. Good luck. I would likely take this, but I'm not gonna be able to watch it. I got to go because my meeting is exactly at 3 o'clock. So I'll be back in like 10 minutes.
We'll look at everything. You know, it's as I mentioned, you know, a pretty reasonable base case is that this will be a one-time price increase, and in the end, we'll make sure that that's the case. We're just trying to do that efficiently. And efficiently means getting the timing right, so we don't again, if we cut rates too soon, maybe we didn't finish the job with inflation. History is dotted with examples of that. If you cut too late, then maybe you're doing unnecessary damage to the labor market. So we're trying to get that timing right, and that's effectively what we're doing.
Claire Jones, Financial Times. Just a question on the dollar. We've seen it decline quite heavily this year. I was wondering if there's been any discussion about that at the meetings and to what degree that may be complicating your attempts to get inflation back to target. Thank you.
So this goes back to the division of labor between the Fed and the Treasury, as you I'm sure know, and you know the Treasury only speaks to the dollar. It's not something that's been a topic of you know, major discussion at all at the Fed. I won't say it doesn't come up. If the transcripts, when they come out in a few years, they'll probably reflect some mentions of the dollar, but it would never be a major focus.
And just to follow on, if I may, to Andrew's question, I think the amount of imputed data in CPI now is up to 35%. I mean, is there any discussion of that as well? Is there any consideration of looking at alternative measures, data scraping and so on, in order to just ensure you've got a good read on what's happening to prices in the US economy? Thank you.
You know, we're monitoring the situation. We do, of course, I mean, as you know, during the pandemic, we looked at a whole lot of new kinds of data. People are looking at big data sets that you can get from all sorts of places, and we do all of that. But we really need, the government data really is the gold standard in data, and we need it to be, you know, to be good and be able to rely on it. And we're not going to be able to substitute for that, but you know, if we have to make do with what we have, but I certainly hope that we get what we need.
Jay O'Brien.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. Jay O'Brien, ABC News. President Trump has obviously invoked your name a lot. He has personally pressured you. Are you concerned the way that conduct might impact the Fed's independence going forward?
I'll just say that, so I think that having an independent central bank has been an institutional arrangement that has served the public well. And as long as it serves the public well, it should continue and be respected. If it didn't serve the public well, then it wouldn't be something that we should just automatically defend. But what it gives us and other central banks, what it gives you is the ability to make these very challenging decisions that in ways that are focused on the data and the evolving outlook, the balance of risks, and all the things we talk about, and not political factors. And so governments all over the advanced economy world have chosen to put a little bit of distance between direct political control of those decisions and the decision makers. So if you were not to have that, there would be a great temptation, of course, to use interest rates to affect elections, for example. And that's something that we don't want to do. So I think that's pretty widely understood. Certainly it is in Congress. And I think it's very important. I'll just say that.
Maria Eloisa.
Afternoon, Chair Powell. Maria Luisa Capurro from Bloomberg News. You mentioned a slowdown in consumer spending, and I wanted to see if you could walk us through what was the discussion with the committee around that. We've seen delinquency rates rising for upper income households. How do you see that evolving in the next few months, and how much of a vulnerability that is for the economy going forward?
Consumer spending had been very, very strong for the last couple of years, and had repeatedly, forecasters, not just us, had been forecasting it would slow down, and now maybe it finally has. So I would say, if you talk to credit card companies, for example, they will tell you that the consumer's in solid shape and that spending is at a healthy level. It's not growing rapidly, but it's at a healthy level, and delinquencies are not a problem. You mentioned high-end delinquencies. I don't know what to make of that. I read the same thing. But so generally, and if you look at the banks, and when the banks talk about in their earnings calls, the performance of credit has been good. So essentially, you have a consumer that's in good shape and is spending, not at a rapid rate, but it's true. And it was, again, right in line with what we expected, the GDP data that we got this week. And I think it's still a little bit difficult to interpret because you have these massive swings in net exports, which may also be affecting, some of that can affect consumer spending as well. Look, it's one of the data points that we pay most careful attention to, and there's no question that it's slowed. And we're watching it closely, but we also watch the labor market and the performance of inflation. Those are our two variables that we're assigned to maximize.
And just to follow up on what my colleagues were asking about this sense, Governor Waller said that the labor market is on edge, and he was pointing to weaknesses on the private sector. I was wondering, you've said that the main number to look at is the unemployment number overall, but what was the discussion about the state of the private jobs market?
So I'm not going to talk about any individual's, any individual's comments. I wouldn't do that. But I think what we know is that private sector job creation, certainly in the last report, we'll see on Friday, but had come down a bit. And if you take the QCEW adjustment seriously, it may be even low, maybe close to zero. But the unemployment rate was still low. So what that's telling you is that demand for workers is slowing, but so is the supply. So it's in balance, oddly enough. You've got a very low unemployment rate, and it's kind of been there for a year as job creation has moved down. But also we know that, because of immigration policy, really, the flow into our labor force is just a great deal slower. And those two things have slowed more or less in tandem. If you look at things like I mentioned, quits, look at wages. Wages are gradually cooling. Look at vacancies to unemployment. Those things have been pretty stable they haven't really moved a lot in a full year. So I think if you take the totality of the labor market data, you've got a solid labor market. But I think you have to see that there are downside risks. You don't see weakening in the labor market, but I think you've got downside risks in a world where unemployment's being held down because both demand and supply are declining. I think it's worth paying close attention to it, and we are.
Nancy.
Hi, Chair Powell. Nancy Marshall-Genzer with Marketplace. One more question on the lack of unanimity in today's decision, the two dissents. Was there talk during the meeting? I know you're not going to talk about exactly what individuals said, but in general, was there talk during the meeting of cutting rates, and what was the case against that at the meeting?
Sure. So, we have an economic go-around where people talk about the economy, and then that's yesterday, and then today we have a monetary policy go-around. All the way around the table, everyone gives their views. So the discussion around policy was, the majority view was still what it has been, which is that inflation's running above target, maximum employment is right at target. That means policy should be a little bit restrictive, somewhat restrictive, because we want inflation to move all the way back to its target. So that's where people have been and still are. Two of our members felt that the time had come to cut, and that for the reasons that they're going to express. I won't tell you the reasons. They'll issue some kind of a thing in the next day or so. But that's the story, and I would say, well argued, very thoughtfully argued all around the table, good arguments, and it's a situation where, unusual situation. The economy is in good shape, but it's an unusual situation where you have risks to both your employment mandate and your inflation mandate. That's the nature of a supply shock, and it's probably not surprising that there would be differences and different perspectives on that, as well as different views of where the neutral rate is, so that different views of how tight policy is. So we have those. I will say what you hope is that people, explain their positions very thoughtfully and clearly, and we absolutely had that today, all the way around the table. I would call it one of the better meetings I can recall from that standpoint.
And you've said you're waiting to be confident inflation is heading toward your 2% target before you start cutting rates. When you do get that confidence, would you be in favor of lowering rates right away?
It's not quite the way I would put it. I said that's why we think policy should be restrictive, is because, inflation is above target. When we have risks to both goals, one of them is farther away from goal than the other, and that's inflation. Maximum employment's at goal. So that means policy should be tight, because tight policy is what brings inflation down. If you came to the view that the risks to the two were more in balance, that would imply that policy shouldn't be restrictive. It should be more neutral, a neutral stance, and that would be somewhat lower than where we are now. No one knows exactly where that is. So that's the framework I think I'd be taking, and we'll just have to see. We're going to be obviously looking at a lot of data in the next cycle. It is one of the cycles where we have 2 employment and 2 inflation reports, and we'll see where that takes us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for taking the question. Jeff Cox from CNBC.com. A metric that you like to cite a lot is the final sales to private domestic purchasers. That was down to a 1.2% gain in second quarter from 1.9% in Q1, suggesting that there's some softening in underlying demand. I just wondering if you look at that and you combine that with some of the housing numbers, the weakness that you acknowledged at the top of your remarks, that the housing market is in fact weak, and the inflation numbers from GDP today came down to 2.1% for headline, 2.5% for core. I'm wondering how much more movement you would need to see from these data points before you would be comfortable with cutting in, say, September.
It's going to be the total. Hard to answer that specifically. PDFP, I think, for the first half, private domestic final purchases, or final sales, as people call it, was 1.6 on the first half. GDP, I believe, was 1.2%. That's the whole half. You mentioned the quarters. So those are slower, but GDP is bumpy quarter to quarter, half to half, and often gets revised, after the fact. The labor market data we still think is, continue to think is the best data we have on the economy, and that shows a 4.1% unemployment rate. It shows wages, still at a healthy level, but moving ever closer to what we would regard as long-run sustainable, consistent with longer-run productivity and 2% inflation. So the labor market is actually still quite solid. Inflation is above target, even ignoring tariffs. It's a little bit above target and tariffs. So we're watching all of that, and again, trying to do the right thing in what is a challenging situation because you're being pulled in two directions, and you have to decide which of those to go in. And actually, at some point, if they're sort of equally at risk, then you really want to be at a neutral policy stance, which we're not right now.
So it'd be safe to say that if the data kind of stays in line with where it is right now, that you wouldn't be comfortable with cutting in September?
I'm not gonna say that. No, I just think we're going to need to see the data, and it can go in many different directions. The inflation data and the employment data, and we're going to make a judgment based on all of the data and based on that balance of risks analysis that I mentioned.
Thank you.
Greg, Rob, for the last question.
Thanks, Chair Powell. Greg Robb from MarketWatch. The Treasury Secretary has said recently that it would be confusing for the markets if you stayed on as a governor after your term as chair ends. And I was wondering if you had any update for us on a decision on that front.
Sorry, I do not have any update for you. Thanks very much, everyone.
Whoa! What did I miss? Slightly earnings Matt. What the heck? Wow. And I'm like sitting here staring at it from my phone. I drew this earlier. Bro. Wow. Ah. Who bought the dip? That's all I want to ask. Whew. Sean Duncan at 5.7K. Dude, I missed it. Wow. Wow. Who bought the dip? Bros, guys, yes. I always thought about putting a contract in and like letting it ride. I ran upstairs. Sorry, I had a meeting to go to. Business calls, you know how it goes. 15 contracted? No way, guys. Wow. How crazy. I'm out of breath because I ran up the stairs. Well, I guess to close out the show, it's good to see that, you know, you guys crushed it. I'm very happy. You know, that's kind of nice. Thanks for sticking around. I was watching on my phone, so I guess to close out the show. Awesome job, guys. So thanks for sticking around. I guess you guys all crushed it on this EST play. Sad day I didn't get it, but hey, man. I had a green day nonetheless. Can't complain. You didn't trade because I didn't tell you what to do. LOL, y'all are so funny. So, like EST again. Dude, I was staring at it. How clean, right? No overshoot, VIX less triple B. That's nice, man. Very nice. Woo! Up 3.2. Fraser got the boner candle. Hell yeah, dude. Very nice. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm not even here and you guys are crushing. This is why I'm so proud of y'all. I'll take my baby $5,000, whatever I made. I'm cool with it. Well, guys, that was a good stream, and thanks for staying around and sticking around. I know I had to go. This is such a busy week for us, and got some more things I got to do. Got construction guys are here and everything, but we'll see y'all early in the morning. It's been great. I'm so happy to see you guys crushing it. Jesse, no way. At 360? Jesse, no way. You got right on the dip. Dang. That is so cool, you guys. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. $3,600 profit. Yo, very nice. Harry, what's up? Man, I missed it. Ah. But I had a good meeting. Some good stuff in the works here, so. On your straight to funded account? Oh, even better, man. You guys nailed it. Well, awesome. We'll see y'all bright and early in the morning, as always. Y'all play safe, trade safe. We'll see y'all later. And thanks for hanging out with me all day. Love you guys, and we'll take care.